Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back for what is, I think, episode 3 now at this point of doing my guild versus guild battles inside Watcher of Realms, and I've actually been very surprised, or not really surprised, but very motivated by the support the videos are getting so far. There's a lot of people in the comments saying they haven't tried the game, but it looks cool, and they're probably going to, and really saying it looks like a good backup to something like Raid Shadow Legends, which, for the record, I absolutely think is true. This is a fantastic game. I have a lot of fun playing it, and I highly recommend anyone else to try it if you haven't. So here we go. We got the guild Dragonheart that I'm a part of going against Vixen, and it does appear to be a pretty close battle so far. Let's go ahead and take a look here. So it looks like, once again, kind of as we'd expect to see, my Team 1 has been defeated, unfortunately. Team 2 still appears to be holding strong, and there's not even any attacks against it yet. So we did still get 3 wins on the first garrison there as well. Let's just go ahead and take a look at, I don't know, maybe the most recent one here and see essentially how they beat us. So it doesn't look like they brought flying units, but it looks like they essentially brought a tank and then the Fool to give him essentially just a bunch of shield there. So it kind of is what it is at the end of the day, I guess. We don't have a whole lot of magic damage on this team either, which I think is a little bit of a weakness, because really the only magic damage is going to come from Ai when she's placing down her bombs, but of course she really only has 2 slots where she can place her bombs, so perhaps placing her up here would be more efficient, and in fact that's something that I might actually do. I don't think ranged units are still going to be able to reach her really, so again, it might be a good idea to put her there, right? So it looks like they're just kind of swarming us with magic DPS, as well as some tanks, as well as obviously the shields and stuff like that coming in. We definitely do a fairly decent job of stalling, though, which is quite nice, but they do take us down there, unfortunately. So that is how the first team got beaten. The second team is obviously quite a strong team, so I don't blame people for not wanting to go against, Praetus and Ingrid and Valkyria and Brokir and Eloin all on the one team is pretty crazy for sure. One of the requests that I got, this was actually from a raid video, but I'll go ahead and do it in Watcher Realms as well. Anyways, they said that I should shrink myself down a little bit so it's more possible to see like other champions and stuff like that at the time I'm talking. So I'll go ahead and shrink myself. Hopefully that's a little bit less intrusive. We have an interesting team here. We have a Brokir, we have a Praetus behind them, and then a Silas as well. So they're both going to have range that extends up to like here, I think, because that's like 3 tiles away. Hatsuit up there isn't really going to do a whole lot until you're like right here. So realistically, we could potentially do this. I am just kind of hesitant to attack any sort of Praetus teams for obvious reasons. Praetus is absolutely insane. This is a pretty crazy team as well, obviously, but I think that we can probably do this. So what we'll do here is we'll edit teams. We'll go ahead and take out Maul. I'm not really needing to use him here. We do want to bring in perhaps these little carrion dudes as well. I've just ranked them up to rank 9s or level 9, so they should help out a little bit as well. And then on top of that, we will want to bring in some sort of a tank still, so perhaps this dude right here. We'll do a quick affiliate as well. And what I'm thinking, essentially, is that we'll go ahead and use the Carrions to activate the ultimates, and then once those ultimates have been wasted, we'll essentially just send in some magic dealers, like the magic damage dealers, and we'll have them try to snipe down, like, the Sun Wukong that's placed behind the tank there, the Toreador, and that should help us out quite a bit with the damage, I would think. We do have Dahlia back here as well, where she's, perfectly hidden kind of thing, so you don't really need to worry too much about being able to target her. I don't think there's really any ranged units that would be able to target her. What's nice, obviously, is the Carrions are at like a very low cost as well, so it's only 3 costs for them, which means that you can place down other units pretty efficiently as well. So we'll go ahead and get our magic DPS in here. I don't even know if this is going to do anything. We do have the ultimates triggering though from like the Sun Wukong, and then obviously the I forgot this name, the Arrogance. His ultimate is on an auto pop, but we did also trigger the Dahlia, and then we also triggered the Toreador there as well. So a very successful run from the dogs, I think. And even with Eloin on the team, it is going to take a while for them to recharge. So they go in there with some AoE damage, and hopefully it'll be enough to put down the Sun Wukong on this next burst. Which it isn't, because the Eloin is healing up too damn much. So let's go ahead and just keep trying to damage them there. We're getting so close. Come on. We really need Sun Wukong to go down here. It'd be quite a shame if he doesn't. There we go. He goes down. We're going to go ahead and send in the Fool behind our tank as well to hopefully keep him alive. We don't really have anyone that we have to worry too much about for like burst damage, because apart from Arrogance, that being said though, so like the Toreador is obviously just based around being like absolutely tanky and annoying, and then the Dahlia is not really like she's not really a burst damage kind of character, right? She's mainly focused on just damage over time with like her poisons and stuff like that. So I do think as long as we can survive the Arrogance here on his ultimate, which is going to be a bit tough, we need the Fool to keep that shield up, or at least try his very best to keep that shield up, which it looks like we're doing a decent job of. So we're probably going to end up getting this team here, hopefully. And then we send in the Carrions as well to try and just get some extra bodies up to Toreador there and potentially push past as well. Toreador is very annoying, obviously, with his stun ability. So him placing those stuns on our team is incredibly annoying. We'll get another tank sent in here. We do trigger Toreador's ultimate there, his unyielding rather. And we do actually have a shielded melee unit that's made her way into the Arrogance as well. So that's going to be this team down. We do actually manage to do it successfully. And then, of course, we still have the Dahlia and the Eluin up. But, I mean, we're not really worried about that. They're not going to be able to stop us, obviously. So that is the team that we use to take them down, which is pretty cool. I think we'll try this team again, obviously, on auto. You can really see, like, the Dahlia gets decent damage, but, like, we weren't struggling to stay alive, essentially. So I do really like her, though. Like, Dahlia's... oh, that was actually the defeat of that team. Okay. So we do have to move on to someone else. I was going to say, I do like Dahlia. She is a fantastic hero, in my opinion. I like using her for, like, Gear Raid 1, especially. Even though I don't really use her because I just have better options currently. But she does very good in there. She's very good for, you know, Guild Wars as well in some of these longer areas. Like putting a Dahlia here, for example, facing this way is pretty strong. Same thing with this way. Any sort of long sight lines she can get, right? Like you've seen her place there. She does a very good job of it. This is an interesting team. The only thing we'd really have to worry about is Hatsuit, because Hatsuit is facing down, so she's going to have good range on us, essentially. So she's going to be, like, doing damage here as well as here. The Twin Fiend will be a bit annoying as well, because he'll be able to synchronize bursts onto our tanks and whatnot. The Zillatu, though, isn't really doing anything until we actually push up that far. So I think this is probably a team that we can take out. I'm just debating how we want to do it, essentially. I think we'll probably try and run the same team, to be honest. I think there's a pretty good chance that we can take it out. And we'll probably do kind of like the same strategy as well, where we send in the tank followed by the Fool, I think. And essentially just kind of, well, tank it, for lack of a better term, right? So we'll go ahead and just wait. Everybody's popping their ultimates there, so they're absolutely wasting their ultimates. We'll get our tank put down. The only thing that's going to be kind of concerning, obviously, is Zillatu does have her ultimate now, which means that she does have the extended range, but I think with these two combined, we can probably do some decent work there. And then, obviously, as soon as we can, we'll go ahead and send in the two magic DPS as well. I'm like a little bit off the screen on the webcam now, unfortunately, but go ahead and get them sent in there too. You can see our tank is doing a very good job of staying alive. And not so much anymore, though. We had some big DPS coming in there. I think it was Twin Fiend's ult, maybe. It looks like we are going to end up popping the invulnerability from Toreador, though, which is good. And we do actually have some melee gals making their way through, so that's going to be Zillatu going down as well. And then we have the doggos running through there too. So it looks like we're going to get through this quite easily. We have enough people just slowly walking to the end where we don't really need to worry about it. And that is a full 3-star victory, which is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and do an auto battle against this team, because I know I can beat it, and I'm just trying to get as many points as possible for my guild, obviously, so we can try and you know, win it. I did realize as well that since, you know, these videos are being recorded ahead of time. So like right now, this video is probably going to be scheduled for like the 20th or something like that. I'm currently recording it on the 12th. So there's a bit of a delay. So obviously, you know, by the time you guys are actually seeing this content, you're probably going to be a couple days through the Guild Wars yourselves as well. So any sort of feedback and whatnot would certainly be much appreciated. If you guys have anything that you want to share, or tips or tricks or anything like that that you think would be good, even if not necessarily directly related to me, still share them down below, because I can pin a comment if it's something real good, and it'll obviously, you know, help out other people who are playing through this game mode as well. So just something to consider. And we are able to beat them quite easily on auto there as well. I must say, these Shadowcasters, I think they're called, these gals right here, which you can't see anymore, but they're probably some of my favorite demon soldiers. They look cool, and they have very cool abilities in my opinion. So let's go ahead and see if there's anything else that we can do here. So we do have Lily here, which is annoying with this team because just such a tank team. This is interesting. I think if we send in the magic DPSs on this, we're going to do fantastic things because they're all in like a splash zone. So I think that's potentially something that we can do. We'll go ahead and try to attack this. And then same kind of thing as well. We can also send in our tank there if needed. But I think we'll actually switch it up a little bit. And we'll take Maul, or Maw, just because this is obviously like a pretty important battle. So getting the extra DPS coming in from him as well would be pretty nice. But I think we'll open up with same kind of thing. We'll send in the Carrions. And then we'll have them essentially just eat the ultimates from the Hatsuit, and we'll actually give it a few moments, and we'll let Silas charge up as well, just so we can be sure that he's going to be in the ultimate while we're there. And then we obviously want Arrogance to be triggered as well. So Arrogance does auto-ult though, so we don't need to worry too much about that. But as soon as we can, obviously, we'll go ahead and place down Maw here as well. And really the biggest concern with Maw, I think, is going to be the Silas ultimate. So the fact that we have now triggered that and he doesn't have much of it left is going to be big. Plus, obviously, with the Fool combined with him, it's just so much tankiness that you can't really do anything about it. I kind of misclicked there, though. That might be a bumble or a fumble. I might have bumbled it. We should get the shield up here momentarily. There it is. Absolutely massive shield. And then at this point, there's a couple things that you could do. So you can see we already take down the Hatsuit. I think what's going to be best, though, essentially, is if we just go ahead and save up and get some magic DPSs in here. Because they're going to be able to do the splash damage, obviously, which is very important. The Fool actually got taken out as well, so we need to get him in there as well. Hopefully it's quick enough. It's not, unfortunately. Oh, this might be bad. We don't have another tank. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize the Fool walked far enough forward to get killed. So we're going to have to hope that these Shadowcasters can take out Torador, which I don't think they will, because they don't have a whole lot of HP. And, of course, the Arrogance is just going to be annoying. Although they might, if they can get through. Oh, this is close. This is close. Okay. So we do have a small chance here, of course. We did get 1 star already. We're going to put down these casters together. They should hopefully be able to do some stuff here. Arrogance is not going to be under his ultimate, so there's a chance that, you know, we can push through, essentially. We do take out the Silas, which is huge, but one of them gets sniped down. The good thing is, though, is that he should be able to snipe the Arrogance, but we still only get, like, 2 people through, which will be a bit of a shame. So, yeah, we are going to get him through, no problem. He's just going to tap that Arrogance again. As long as he gets there quick enough, it's only 5, 3, 2, no! What an absolute roller coaster from start to finish. That is completely my bad. Like I said, I didn't realize that the healer had gone down on Maw, so I didn't know that, you know, he was going to get killed right away, essentially. So let's go ahead and try that again. I think we can probably do the same team, to be honest. The team composition seemed perfectly fine. We just need to make sure, obviously, to actually keep our tank alive this time. And a very good way to do it as well could be to essentially bring in some sort of like a healer as well. So I know that we have healer options available. So bringing in a healer with this team composition might not be a bad idea. We do trigger Hatsuit there, obviously. And then we get to trigger on Silas as well, which is pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and wait until Silas is probably at about half. and then Arrogance for that matter at about half as well. We're going to go ahead and place down our Maw. And then at the point where we can here, so as soon as we can, we'll place down the Fool as well in the top square there, obviously. And now we are just kind of trying to get one of these magic DPS units out as soon as possible as well. So we'll go ahead and do that. Arrogance is very annoying because obviously he starts targeting our healer. It's also annoying that our magic DPS targeted... Oh, this is so annoying. We had the Fool locked onto Maw, and then he's like, hey, you know what? We're actually just going to target, you know, somebody that you don't really care about us targeting. So they went ahead and for some reason started targeting the magic DPS that we had coming up instead of, you know, the actual hero or champion or demon soldier that we wanted them to target. So that is so incredibly annoying. And we don't even make it through because of the Arrogance ultimate. And I don't think one magic DPS combined with one Fool is going to be enough to get us through, because that Toreador is just so goddamn tanky in the healer. So this is unfortunately going to be 2 losses back-to-back against this particular team. Even more salt in the wound because of the fact that we used Maw on both of them, obviously. But, oh, that hurts. That hurts. I think that's probably the worst showcase I've had since starting this video series still. So that is a stronghold, to be fair, though. We kind of do expect the teams to be, well, strong, right? So this is an incredibly annoying team. Having Carnelia as well as Baron, Toreador, Hatsuit, Ajax. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Let's go ahead and try this, though. I think what we'll probably do a little bit different here is we'll bring in something like maybe this dude. Because they don't have a ton of magic damage. It's pretty much just the Ajax. And then I think instead of the Carrions, we'll probably go ahead and bring in some archers as well, perhaps. Right here, level 4 archers. We'll go ahead and try this, see if we can get it done. Level 88 account, pretty close to the same level as mine. You can see a lot of these demon soldiers have just not leveled up, though, which is a bit of a shame. So Baron's ultimate is essentially just going to add unkillable to himself pretty much there, so it's not a huge deal by any means. What's cool about this guy as well is he moves so slow, so we can easily get the Fool deployed behind him if we want to. We'll save up a couple of extra points here and then get him deployed. So there we go. We do have quite a nasty little kill box right here, obviously, with all of that damage coming in, but you can see we really do decent things here with the Fool combined with our hero. So I think we're going to also go ahead and send in a magic DPS, just because I want some splash damage to come in on the Hatsuit as well as the Baron. The Fool does get his shield up once again as well. It doesn't look like our magic DPS is really going to be able to do a whole lot here because he keeps getting stunned by the goddamn Toreador. And Toreador keeps activating that annoying-ass ability. Come on, get it off. Oh, Hatsuit, come on, baby. You gotta go down. You gotta go down. No. Come on, all we need is like one more hit on Hatsuit. That's all we need. Take her down. Take her down. There we go. Hatsuit's down. Okay, we actually have somewhat of a chance here. So let's go ahead. Let's send in probably actually 2 of these chicks just to see if we can't snipe Toreador. Because there's not a ton of damage coming in, obviously, apart from Ajax there when his ultimate procs, but Toreador's already triggered his unyielding as well, I think. So we'll go ahead and get this in, see if we can't take out the Ajax there. Baron's now triggered his unyielding as well. Baron is down, so we might be able to get some people through. Oh, come on. Carnelia and Ajax should both be dead here right away. Either way, though, we did have enough of the Shadowcasters get through so that we can actually claim victory on this particular post. So, you know, it works well. Now, since we only have a couple of attacks left, I think we probably only have like 2 attacks or something like that, I'm probably going to go ahead and try to use Maw on them as well, because he is a freaky good unit that obviously is pretty fun to use, right? So we don't really need it against this team, but where do I see my attacks here? We only have 2 left, so of course I can use him on both of those attacks because we have 2 chances left with him. The only downside, of course, is the fact that he has you know, such a high cost. Like a 9 cost is pretty crazy. It would obviously only be worse if it was a 10 cost, but here we are, so it is what it is, right? We do have cost getting generated here. I don't like how quick he is, as silly as that might sound. Like, he's very, very fast as far as tanks go, in my opinion. You've seen how much slower the kind of golem-looking dude was, and I do prefer that from a tank because, again, when you have a slower tank like that, it gives you more time to get, like, your supports behind them, because in the last battle, our tank was only, like, here when we were able to deploy the Fool on him, so it obviously means that he's a lot more, well, tanky, which is what you want from your tank, right? So, just something to consider there. Of course, Hatsuit's going to go down right away. This time we have plenty of support on him, so I think we're going to save up a little bit here and just get our 2 magic DPSs going in pretty close to each other. Our Fool is absolutely insane. He managed to hold out that long and keep Maw shielded up, even though there was some crazy stuff going on there. That, like, ultimate range from Toreador is bonkers, by the way, with the fact that it reaches, like, all the way over here. That is insane. It's not even the ultimate, but it's his procking of the stun ability. Atrocious Trample, maybe, is what it's called. It's something weird like that, but yeah, it's pretty crazy, that's for sure. We do have Maw taking out Carnelia there, which is pretty insane. Carnelia is obviously one of the most annoying champions to try and face inside the GVG mode, so, you know, anytime we get to take her out, that's a massive W in my opinion. And then we basically just march everybody to the end here because they have gotten through, so a pretty easy victory there, all things considered, with Maw. What's nice, too, is, like, Maw isn't some pay-to-win champion, right? He's not some pay-to-win hero. I'm just, like, at this point, I really don't care because nobody's questioning it, but calling them champions versus heroes, it's like, whatever. You know, I'm just so used to the champion terminology. So he's a free-to-play friendly champion that everybody's going to get for getting the 50,000 blood on Guild Boss 1 eventually, right? So super, super useful for that reason, even if nothing else. This is an annoying team because we have Praetus, obviously, who's going to be covering, like, this area here. We have Pelagaios, who is actually a pretty good hero. Let's see, what else do we have? We have this team here. This is an interesting team. Not really too worried about the DPS, honestly, because Silas can be, you know, kind of triggered by somebody else. We don't need the archers, but what we will do here is we'll bring the Carrion Hounds once again, because obviously I want them around to be able to trigger the ultimates and just bait out, like, Silas and Sun Wukong and all those sorts of heroes before I really push in there with my tanky boys. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's wait until we're at, like, the full 10 cost here. Let's also wait until they're starting to look pretty full, so we'll go ahead and send them probably about now. By the time they get there, we should be good to go. And then we do have Maw coming in here as well. This is Ezrein, who I believe can actually, like, attack, basically, or not like attack, but heal anywhere on the map, pretty much, so he's one to be worried about. I think it's Ezrein. It's either Ezrein or the other kind of lizardy-looking healer that can do that, but I think it's him. He's also very good at buff Dispel, if I recall correctly. So the Fool should get there just in time to provide some support, and then obviously we have Maw, who's just going to be absolutely blasting all of these. We've already triggered Toreador's Unyielding, which is pretty crazy. And we do take out Toreador, so we're marching forward. We also take out Sun Wukong, so that's pretty crazy. We're going to send in some Carrion Hounds as well, just to try and overwhelm their tanks, essentially. But there's nothing more that we need at this point. It's just a healer left. They can't really do anything. And I think this was actually my last attack as well. So yeah, we do take them out there, which is pretty nice. And then let's see if I still have an attack left after this. This is just absolutely insane. Maw makes these battles so damn easy. For the most part, you just got to really have, like, something to empower him. I must say that the Fool paired with Maw is just an absolutely, like, shattering combination. Like, they're so good together. And then Maw just on his own without, like, a healer or anything like that is kind of just to be honest, because he needs time to power up, essentially, right? So those are my 8 attacks. Because of those 8 attacks, we have actually brought our guild into a winning position. So hopefully we can essentially get the win based off of that. We'll have to wait and see if that's the case, though. Obviously, there's still a lot of attacks left from both sides, so we're pretty equal, though. It's going to be a very, very close battle. That being said, though, as always, thank you guys all so much for watching and the support on the channel, and I'll see you next time.